What's going on, guys? I want to give you this example. CLVS, a beautiful, beautiful example of what you really need to understand about these types of setups, these types of plays. Too many people buy into what these companies are pumping. They buy into the hype. And you can see here, CLVS went from being up, they're at $23 a day on basically nothing but a pump. And at the end of the day, the low, I think, was $18.25. So $18.25 low there. Let's break it down. Let's talk about it. What you really need to understand about what these companies are doing. And it's really not even so much the companies. It's more so what other individuals are doing, how they're playing into the idea that people are going to get really, really excited about a big pump pre-market. And then they're going to short it. They're going to short it. They're going to short it back to the grave. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it in this video. So make sure you stay tuned. Well, what's good? Patrick here. If you didn't already know, well, here I am. Today, I traded CLVS. This morning, I was shorting CLVS pre-market when I saw a lot of other people actually talking about how it was going to go to the moon. So really quickly, just to kind of give you the background story here, CLVS was popping up because of TSRO. So TSRO this morning popped up there to $73 because of a buyout. So TSRO is getting bought out. So you had this big, massive pump. And what's going on here is CLVS, TSRO are similar companies. They're biotech companies. I think they're both kind of in the oncology, cancer research world. So a lot of people saw the news about TSRO, and then they started to think that CLVS would also follow suit, right? Because if one company gets bought out, well, they all should just get bought out. Well, that's not how it works. And this is exactly what they did. Look at this, the volume. So at 7 o'clock this morning, they start pumping it up. It goes from $17 up here to $20 to $21.98. And then all the way up here to the high at $23. So really a beautiful move. You're like, wow, there's a lot of momentum. There's something really happening here. And people start to see it. They see it on the scanners. They see it popping up. People are talking about it on StockTwits. They're talking about it everywhere. And they're thinking that, CLVS is really going to break out and just go higher and higher. Is you get people that are basically pumping the price up, and their motive of doing that is they're playing into the idea that there is news on TSRO. They see the correlation with CLVS. They end up pumping the price, getting the stock. It was up like 30 or 40% pre-market, pumping the price. And then once they did that, they start to unload. It's an easy to borrow stock. There's not really anything to stop them from making a lot of money on this trade. First off, they're pumping the price. They're making money on the upside once they get it up 40, 50%. So I want you guys to understand, just because a stock is popping up pre-market, just because a stock is up 40, 50%, does not mean that it's going to continue higher. I made the full recap earlier, but I really just wanted to kind of touch on this one more time to explain. I'm not sure enough people really saw that video earlier. Hopefully this does give people out there an idea that, hey, just because a stock is pumping higher pre-market does not mean that it's going to be the play of the day. Really, on this type of setup, when I saw this setup, all I was thinking about was shorting. I never thought once that I would go long, even, on this pullback here. I was thinking, okay, I'm looking for this to push back up there, $23 area. I want to get short into that resistance, and then I'm going to hammer it back down. And I ended up jumping in there short at $23. And then I covered here when we kind of found some support. I was thinking we might get a little bit of a pushback, and then I went live on YouTube and just kind of forgot about it. It's one thing to think about here, pre-market. If the volume just is not really reflecting the type of move that's happening, the stock went from $17 to $23 really on only what? 13,000, 6,000, 3,000 shares, 7,000 shares. So what? 20, 30,000 shares. It went from $17 to $23. You need to understand that the volume is going to be very telling. If this stock really did have big momentum, if it really had big news, if it was really going to go to the moon, there should be a lot of volume to kind of correlate with that action. I said correlate again. But really, you got to be suspect. When you see a move like this on low volume and you see the stock just jumping higher after it's been getting crushed recently, you got to ask yourself, what is really going on there? You need to understand that there are always people out there with bigger plans than you have. If you're thinking about going long here on CLVS and you're like, ooh, I'm going to make so much money here on CLVS today, there's probably somebody else out there who's also thinking that they're going to short this stock and they're going to crush all the retail traders who are looking to buy. Because I think a lot of people out there, I saw in our Facebook group today, somebody talking about how they blew up their account here on CLVS because they went long. Just because a stock is gapping up pre-market does not mean that it's a long opportunity. Like I said, when I saw this setup earlier, all I was thinking about was shorting it. You can watch the live video where I talked about this exact move happening before it happened in that video. I posted it earlier, so you can watch that if you don't believe me. But here, looking at it now, wow, even I'm impressed on how beautiful they were able to play this. I was watching it later on in the day, just kind of how it was happening and just seeing the overall move. We got this little bit of a balance here at the end of the day. I think most of that was just shorts covering. All these shorts that were shorting, they were like, okay, I'm getting out of it. They're done for the day. And you kind of get that buying pressure. All the shorts trying to get covered. The volume really just not that high. So they needed to get covered at some point. So that's what you got there at the end of the day. You got the shorts kind of covering into close. But really, from $23 down there to $18.25, not bad, not bad. But again, I'm trying to stress the fact here that just because a stock is popping up pre-market, just because you think a stock is going to go to the moon, you really need to understand what is the driver here. What's the news? What's going on? Why is this stock really pumping? Remember, all the PRs that go out, all the big pumps are happening because that there's somebody out there with a lot of money today that was sitting there just hammering CLVS short all day long, and they ended up making a lot of money. And they were able to look at that long-term play. That's one of my issues. Obviously, I need to work on just my patience, kind of having that confidence in the types of moves. You know, from $23 down there to $18, that's not bad. That is not bad, my friends. But really, I just need to focus on that idea. You can see it open. It got up there to $22.25. Then it was just slammed back down. And after that, it was just below the VWAP ever since then. So again, just because the stock has news does not mean that it's a long opportunity. Think about that the next time you think about buying a stock that's up 40% pre-market. Really ask yourself, what is going on here? I'll talk to you guys later on. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button.